Hey everybody, how you doing? Thanks so much for joining me this week. We're going to get into this episode in just a second here. But first, I just want to point out that I don't know what I was trying to do with my outfit this episode in my chat with Ryan. I thought I was doing something with a black bodysuit and, the gray sweatpants. Those sweatpants won't ever be seen on camera again. I'm sitting down. My positions are crazy. If you were to pause the episode at any point, I might have my feet in the air. I don't know why I couldn't sit still. I think I honestly was a little bit nervous. But the episode's great. You're going to love it. I just want to throw this in at the beginning of the episode that I know I look crazy, so please don't meme me. Okay, that one is for those who watch on YouTube. Also, the sound is going to kick out at one point, somewhere around the hour... What is it? Hour 20 mark? Yeah, hour 18. I accidentally kicked the recorder out. So the sound's going to go out a little bit. I might cut part of that episode anyways. But just so you know, if you notice a lapse in the sound, it's going to go back to normal in just, a few minutes at like an hour 21. We're back in action. All right, guys, you're the best. Be good. Bye. Hi, hello. How are you? Good to see you. Nice to be here. This is I Feel Fat Today. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. Another glorious Friday, as it were. Thank you so much for joining me. Sorry about last week. Yeah, last week was a little weird. Energy was a little bit all over the place. As you can see, I am seated at my standing desk because I don't think I can be trusted to stand because I was acting erratic. That was not a good episode. It does have 20 views right now, which is entirely too many views for that episode. So if you watched, thanks. And I'm sorry. This episode's going to be way better. And I have a guest this week. We are back on track with guests. So yeah, subscribe to our YouTube channel where we hit over 100 subscribers. I almost said 1,000. But that's just me, speaking in the future. Subscribe to our YouTube channel where there are full video episodes. If you like what you're watching, comment, like it, share it even, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to ask you to do too much. Then head on over to Apple Podcasts where you can give us a 5-star review. It's super easy to do. Just go to all the link trees and all the bios that are associated with me, and there'll just be a button right there where you can do that, where you can find our Apple Podcasts profile and give us a 5-star review. Follow us on social media at I Feel Fat Today, and me, your host. Hello, this is Kelly on Instagram, and send us an email at ifeelfattoday@gmail.com. If you would like some advice, I would love to read your email out on the podcast and give it to you. Okay, life update. I don't really have a life update, I don't think. Nothing really to talk about. It's December. We've got holiday parties. We've got, it's festive and it's fun. And I'm trying not to stress about Christmas gifts. Here's the one thing I'll say about Christmas gifting. I have never felt like I have spent so much money and I do not have any goddamn gifts. I promise you, I feel like I've spent hundreds of dollars and I don't have gifts for anybody. And maybe it's just because everything is so expensive right now. And so I have gifts for like half the people on my list, and it feels like I've spent so much money. But even the gifts that I've gotten them, I'm like, this isn't even that good of a stuff. I don't know. So that's that. I don't know. I want Christmas to be like this holiday cheer. Like I try to get into the holiday spirit with decorating all this nice stuff, and it is nothing but stress. Now we're at the point of we're just now you have to pay extra for things to get here on time in order for things to be here by Christmas. So anyways, I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. Okay. We have an awesome guest for you this week. But before we get there, I want to discuss this article that I found that links back to my conversation with my guest this week. And that is the concept of cleaning your plate. Did you grow up in a household where you were told to clean your plate? Maybe your parents told you to, or maybe your grandparents told you to. Maybe you went to a friend's house one time and they were a clear your plate family. I remember the first time I went to a friend's house and I saw dishes being put away with food on them, and I was flabbergasted. I was like, what? That's not how that works. You're supposed to clean everything off of the plate. And we talk about that a little bit with my guest this week, the concept of clearing your plate. Yeah, well, let's get into it. Okay, why cleaning your plate can be such a harmful habit. It may have been drilled into you since you were a kid. You have to finish the food that is on your plate before you can get up from a meal. While the concept of cleaning your plate is used with the best of intentions, it can be a serious struggle to get your children to eat well, even on a good day. People rarely bother to clarify that it's not really necessary once you hit adulthood. It makes sense that you might be taught to clean your plate when you're a child, since you're growing at a rapid pace and parents are often concerned with wasting food. But this habit is not always a child hangover. New York-based registered dietitian Jessica Cording says she sees this a lot with her younger patients on a budget. When they eat out, they feel like they need to clean their plate because they paid for it, she tells Self. And that's totally how I feel. Like, I am huge on leftovers. I'm getting better at maybe not like eating everything just because I bought it, but I feel like I need to eat enough that either doesn't justify bringing the food home, or I need to eat the correct portion so that I can bring the rest of the food home. No matter where the instinct comes from, experts say, cleaning your plate on autopilot can be detrimental. Getting in the habit of cleaning your plate makes it more likely that you will consistently overeat since you aren't paying attention to your feelings of fullness, Alyssa Rumsey, registered dietitian and owner of Alyssa Rumsey Nutrition and Wellness Consulting, tells Self. Cording agrees. Cleaning your plate sets you up for using external cues as opposed to internal cues for figuring out when's an appropriate amount of food for you, she says. If you're used to feeling like you have to clean your plate on a subconscious level, you might ignore those internal cues that tell you you're full. Cleaning your plate is the opposite of mindful eating. Mindful eating is a growing practice in which people are encouraged to appreciate and savor every bite of their food. Consistently eating every bite on your plate is so far on the other end of the spectrum that Rumsey calls it mindful eating. Mindful eating is about getting back in touch with our feelings of hunger and fullness and learning to listen to our bodies, she says. It's also about reconnecting with the experience of really tasting and paying attention to our food. But being truly mindful about what you're eating, you can reconnect with your feelings of hunger. So you're a lot less likely to overeat in the process, Rumsey says. Beth Warren, RDN, founder of the Beth Warren Nutrition and author of Living a Real Life with Real Food, tells Self that mindful eating is a critical part of being healthy. Once you are in tune with what your body wants and needs, you can more easily achieve a balanced, healthy weight and lifestyle, she says. Of course, there is a concern about wasting food on your plate, which is legitimate. But Ansel points out that eating extra calories that you don't need is also something of a waste. Hello, missed opportunity for leftovers, and it doesn't help your overall health either. A better strategy is to keep a close eye on how much you cook or order to prevent buying food that you don't need. Breaking a habit that may have been drilled into you since childhood isn't always easy, and it may take a few methods to learn to be okay with not finish every morsel every single time. The first step is realizing that you actually have this habit, Ansel says. Once you're aware of the fact that you're eating out of habit, not hunger, it's a lot easier to break the routine. To do just that, Cording recommends eliminating distractions like TV, your computer, your books, or just focusing on eating when you have a meal. That makes it more likely that you'll actually experience your food and recognize your fullness as a result. To me, that just sounds like you're taking part of the joy out of eating. There is nothing better than after a long day, especially when you've cooked the meal, you've spent time cooking the meal, and now you have everything out on a plate, and you bring it over to the couch, and you sit down, and you turn on television. Maybe you're in the middle of a really good show. Right now, I'm in the middle of Billions. Oh, gosh. But then you realize it's not even 15 minutes into Billions, and you've scarfed your plate down. So they definitely have a point here. But come on, watching TV, being on your computer, your book, reading a book, scrolling on your phone. Let's be real here. That's like the parsley on top of, truffle fries. It's just like that extra, it's like the paprika on top of deviled eggs. It just gives it the extra punch to make your meal amazing. But what they say is credence. For example, I don't really ever take a lunch break. The only lunch break I really have is getting up from this desk to go downstairs and maybe pick up food if I'm not making food here. And then I promptly come back and sit down in front of my computer and eat my lunch while I work. And like I have like lunch amnesia every day that I eat lunch. I don't even remember it happening because I'm not at all connected to what's happening. If anything, I'm self-soothing when I'm having lunch during the workday because it's just anything to escape the reality of what is happening on my work computer. Okay, so basically this is saying to just because you were told to clear your plate your whole life, which is a very legitimate thing, a very legitimate reason to clear your plate now as an adult. It's like, oh, it's just always what I've always done. But if that's a habit that you want to change, instead of just saying, oh, well, it's what I was always told, it's always how I've behaved, I've always just cleared my plate, then change the behavior. And this article goes into tips on how. I do have to say, just from being in this space of like wellness and bodies, some of the tactics here may be a little bit triggering, like, having a smaller portions on a smaller plate or whatever it is that they say. So just, caution if you're somebody that is like easily triggered or somebody that like really has, some sensitivities around talking about portion control, portion size, even the term portion control. But yeah, so that it's, hey, as adults, we can change the things that were integrated into us as children and create new neural pathways so that we can form new habits. Not all is lost. You can teach an old dog new tricks. That is what I'll say. Okay. I am so excited, dear listener, for you to hear from my guest this week. I had such an amazing conversation with this person. He is so funny. He is new to New York City. And mark my words, my guest this week is going to be famous. I hope one day I can open for him on the road when he is headlining sold out venues, because that's just the trajectory that this person is going to have. Because in the short time I have known him, he is smart, insightful, and most of all funny. Please welcome to the show, comedian Ryan Erwin. You've been in New York for about a year.
Close to, yeah. I'm coming up on my year.
Amazing. I wanted to have you on the pod because you have such like a good energy about you.
Oh, thank you.
Like you have you have really kind eyes.
Okay, I get complimented on my eyes all the time.
Yeah.
And it is part of my stand-up act, because a woman, while giving out free samples at the grocery store, stopped and was like, you have the most beautiful eyes.
Stop. That's so funny.
I have a whole story about that in my act, but then she also said they remind me of my OBGYN. Oh. That's what she said to me, which was, I was like, way to compliment me and then just like take the wind out of my sails, because I don't know what to do with that information.
She's like looking in her OBGYN's eyes.
Yeah. And so I just was like,
oh, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Oh, well. Well, where are you from?
I'm originally from Utah. I'm from a small town called Brigham City.
Okay.
But an hour north of Salt Lake. And then I graduated high school, graduated from college at Utah State, lived in Salt Lake City for a few years, moved to North Carolina for a few years, and then moved up here.
I mean, you really are from Utah.
Yeah, 30 years.
You went to high school in Utah,
Yeah, high
college.
school, college, yeah. Worked
Yeah.
as a working professional.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. How much different is Utah from the city?
So different. It's so different. Well, because it's so car centric, but
Yeah.
even then, like, just like, you know, like I live in a very Caribbean neighborhood,
Right,
which I'm like,
right.
okay,
Yeah.
like it's just a very different look and vibe and aesthetic that I
Totally.
had in Utah. Yeah,
Amazing. Okay. And so do you have any siblings?
yeah. I'm the youngest of 4. I'm the
Okay.
baby.
Okay. The youngest of 4. And you grew up Mormon?
Yes.
Yeah. Is 4 not a lot of kids for a Mormon family?
I would say that's like a lot of my friends were in families of like 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's pretty standard.
Yeah.
Utah Mormon family.
Because
Like,
that is a lot of kids. Four
Yeah,
kids
4
is a lot of kids.
and then, but like, you know, when you compare it to like what you presume of like Utah Mormons
Yeah.
is like 7, 14, like, you know, the Duggars.
Right.
Yeah, they're not Mormon, but
Yeah.
there are those. Like I did have friends who are like, yeah, I'm one of 8. And
Wow.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So, yeah.
Wow. Okay. So what? You're the youngest, brothers, sisters.
So Mary's the oldest, my sister, and then
Mm-hmm.
we got 2 brothers and me, and between me and my sister, we're 5 years apart. So
Oh,
I have 4
okay.
kids in 5 years.
Okay.
Just-
Wow. 4 kids in 5 years. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
So basically, when they I think right before my sister started kindergarten, I was born. So my mom had 4 kids
Yeah,
at home.
very young
all
kids.
by
They do
herself.
that. It's fine. Nothing bad's gonna happen. Okay, so and you're also very tall. How tall are you?
I am 6'5".
6'5". Okay.
Yeah.
So were you like and I mean this in stature, were you like a big kid growing up?
Oh yes.
Because
Yeah.
like I feel like someone that's as tall as you, especially from a place that I would consider like a milk-fed kind of area, like
I am from a farming school. Our school was known for our FFA and wrestling program. So like
Okay.
I am from like that. Like my friends' horses, I could see their grazing pasture from my driveway. Like where I
Wow,
would play
my
so I'd play
gosh.
basketball and I could see Nicole's horses. Like,
yeah.
so yeah, like
So were you like in the 3rd grade just like taller than the rest?
yeah, but I was not one of the like I was more stocky than like Cindy. Like
Okay.
there were like a lot of like beanpole people.
Yeah.
I was a hardy beanstalk.
Yeah,
So,
totally.
Yeah, so I always bragged like I'm the tallest in our class, like in
Yeah.
elementary school.
Right.
And then when we got to middle school, our area had 5 elementary schools that fed into a middle school.
Uh-huh.
So I went from being the tallest at my school to like competing, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
all of a sudden it feels
this.
like high school a little bit, but it's just middle school.
Yeah, but I'm just like I'm not the tallest. Like,
Yeah.
what is my defining attribute then?
Okay, so did you play sports at all?
I loved playing them. I only did football for 1 year in high school.
Oh, okay.
But basketball season was always during the musical.
Oh, there you go. And
So-
you have to follow your heart.
You have to. I had my Troy Bolton moment my senior year of high school because I had lost a lot of weight going from my junior to senior year.
Oh, okay.
So when I went to like basketball open gym and the coach was like, "No, we run this play, Ryan. We ran it all the time last year." I was like, "I didn't make the team last year."
Oh my god.
And he was like, "Oh," and he's like, "Well, we changed the offense, so it's very spread out, so everyone's gonna be shooting threes." And I am very much like I don't like posting up down low. I love
Okay.
shooting 3-pointers.
Yeah.
So for being the center, I was like, "Oh, this offense is perfect for me." And so then I had this moment where I'm like, "Do I try out?" But you know, I'm in the madrigal choir, I'm in the musical theater class, and I'm in the Shakespeare class. Like, I'm probably expected to be the lead in the musical.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what do I do? I had my Troy Bolton moment, and I chose theater.
Oh, I like that you chose
I could have been in the
theater.
NBA.
Yeah, yeah,
like,
yeah,
I don't
exactly.
know. We don't know what that timeline looks like.
Literally,
Like,
here you are trying to, shell out your little jokies.
yeah,
in,
my hee hee ha ha.
in Brooklyn,
Yeah.
and you could have been an NBA world
I could have
star.
been with the Brooklyn Nets.
Yeah, literally.
I could be a world
your
champion.
home club could have been Barclays.
What could have been?
What could have been? Wow, amazing. Okay, so you said that you were like a stocky kid. So did I don't think I really know anybody from Utah. Like our moms dieting out in Utah, or are we just enjoying?
I don't know if you know this, but most mommy bloggers and like mommy influencers are almost all Utah and almost all Mormons.
yes.
So they're like a lot of the like we drink this tea. So there is
Yeah.
that. My hometown at the time did not have that.
Okay.
So we're from a smaller town where, you know, like we're corn-fed.
Corn-fed, yeah.
Like type of people. So I didn't really experience that growing up where I had like friends' moms like dating. It wasn't until I became a teacher that I would meet a lot of my students' parents. I'm like, you're in between yoga sessions for this parent-teacher conference.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like, okay. Like,
and that's like the rise of the internet that causes that.
Yeah. So growing up, that wasn't really like a thing. My grandma was like very disrespectful. You didn't eat the whole plate of food.
Absolutely.
So,
totally.
and then serve seconds, and then you had to eat seconds.
Yeah.
And then she would then critique your body.
My grandmother is an Irish immigrant, God rest her soul, and she was the same way.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
My grandma, like one of the last times I took, like a few years ago when I had to go visit, she's just like, well, you're getting a little bigger. And I was just like, Grandma, you overfed me.
Yeah.
And she would be insulted if we were like, just one serving is fine. Oh, that's enough.
No.
And she goes, but I made all of this.
Yeah.
And I was like, and then now you're going to critique my... It was
earlier today for lunch. I was having just like the most bland, bleakest, upsetting, depressing salad I've ever had in my life. And as I was eating it, I was laughing to myself, thinking about how my grandmother would be very hypercritical about everyone's bodies, and how she said that my aunt was very, very skinny. She goes, oh, and your aunt, she's always eating that rabbit food. And I was looking at my salad. I'm like, this is the rabbit food.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you lost a bunch of weight going, like, what was it, junior to senior year of high school? So what was that?
So I was definitely my friend group, like the heaviest, but like I was tipping the scales as a high schooler, and I lost 50 pounds. In the summer between my junior and senior. I joined the cross country team. I went running for miles every day. I was like eating healthier, and like I was in a community theater production of High School Musical, which was very dance heavy.
Yep.
So I was like running in the morning, dancing at night, like, you know, I got in really good shape.
Wow.
So
What were you in High School Musical?
I was Alan. Well, I played multiple roles, but I was Alan the thespian, was my dialogue character.
Okay.
But I was also on the basketball team. I was also on the mathletes. Well, that's my Mean Girls. I can't remember what it's called right now, but I was like the nerd herd. And so like we would just like every scene, because it was a small community theater production.
Yeah. So
I would have to play everything. But yeah.
Totally. You're just like in backstage, just like sweating off the calories. Just.
Oh yeah. Just like every day dripping in sweat.
So I also ran cross country and I did track, and I didn't do theater. Like I wasn't like a musical theater kid, but for some reason, I think it was like junior or senior year, like a bunch of people in my class were like, oh, we'll do the play. So I was like, okay, yeah, I'll do it. And it was High School Musical.
Oh, fun.
And my character was one that wasn't in the movie. The person that does like the PA announcements. Jack Scott. Yeah. That was my my role.
Because I ended up directing that show a few years ago.
Oh, really?
I was a middle school teacher.
Yes.
So I taught it I directed it at a theater company. But yeah, so I actually really like High School Musical, the stage show.
Yeah. No,
low key, it's a bop.
Yeah. I'm really not somebody that likes musicals. Like I went to a really musical theater heavy college.
Oh, okay.
And that group of people were so annoying. I'm so sorry.
No. Fair and valid. Okay.
And but
as one of them, fair.
But then you see a good musical and you're like, damn, they had musical.
Yeah, that slaps. Yeah.
Funny enough, one of the only musicals I've ever seen is Book of Mormon.
Okay.
Now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Recently.
Very, very doctrinally accurate.
Doctrinally?
Yes. Very racially offensive.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was like, wow, they still make it like exactly how.
Yeah. No. Like when they talk about like the whole I believe.
Yeah.
That those are core key Mormon beliefs. But then, you know, like I'm like I was like, how did this show get? Especially during the pandemic when they're like, we're gonna revise the script. I'm like, I'm sorry, this show is deeply racist.
Oh, yeah.
How do you change that?
I know.
And every Mormon that complained, like, they're mocking our religion. I was like, no, they're literally just singing I believe and things Mormons actually believe.
Yeah,
like
they're
like mocking you.
Yeah.
But it's not offensive to Mormons. It's offensive to Ugandans, Africans, black people everywhere. Like
oh my gosh, so funny. Okay. What were we saying? High School Musical. Book of Mormon. There was something about
between my junior and senior year.
Yeah. You lost weight, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I remember what I wanted to ask. In your time as being a teacher, you said you taught middle school.
Taught it for 9 years.
9 years. Wow. Okay. So did you see kids bullying each other, especially about things like their weight or the way that they looked?
Not so much that. Mostly it was personalities. Like the annoying kids got bullied.
Okay.
And, part of me was like, that sucks, but also fair.
Yeah, you're learning a lesson right now.
You can't just poke someone.
Mm-hmm.
You can't poke the bear and not expect the bear to bite your head off.
Yeah.
So no, as far as mocking with weight or whatever, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I didn't ever hear someone complain about
yeah, they called me fat.
Yeah, no, I was very cognizant about show selection and casting, being like, I don't want to put you here because of this.
Yeah.
Like when we did Little Mermaid, we did with a Chef Lou, which is this big over the top character. We cast our very biggest boy.
Yeah.
And I didn't want the interpretation to be like, well, because he's big,
right,
he gets the part where he makes the food. Like, right. I didn't want that sort of mindset, but he slayed and stole the show because he was this first tenor who'd go, and just this big over the top character that it was all my fears and concerns of what people might say.
Yeah.
I'm once he started singing and acting, okay, no. He was perfectly cast.
It's one of those things where it's your initial fears of I don't want to cast him for this and have that be the perception. That is only the perception when they don't slay the role.
Yes.
When they don't take the role and make it amazing. It's okay, well, that was the only reason why they were casted, as opposed to the real reason, which is they had the ability to conquer the role.
And when we did Wind in the Willows, I couldn't remember the title of it. Our toad was a black kid, and then our badger was an Asian kid, and then we cast one of the male characters as a girl, and I was and then Rat was a Latina girl, and it was just I didn't want people to think oh, Ryan just picked all the non-white kids in the program, but then when they performed, everyone's oh, we get it. So every time I was apprehensive, I'm I know I'm making this casting choice because they're the best for the role, but because I was a gay teacher in Utah, I was always cognizant that people are going to find a way to complain about anything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was very cognizant to avoid same-sex stuff.
Right.
We did one show where we just didn't have enough boys, and so instead of them being a husband and wife couple, I had them be two old sisters who just lived together. But then but then they held hands during a scene, and people were like, they're lesbians. I was like, no, it was a sisterly hold, no interlocking fingers. I was always so hyper vigilant and cognizant that sometimes I feel like it was to my detriment. That I'm just I know I'm casting the best person for the role, but at the same time, I'm oh, I don't want people to say, oh, he only got that because of X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
So
did you leave teaching to pursue comedy?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, yeah. Bold choice.
It's both impressive and terrifying. I'm slightly concerned for you.
No, everyone should. I left a job that had every evening off, every weekend off, and summers off, which is perfect for comedy.
Yeah,
it's honestly I could have just set up summer tours every year, done open mics once or twice a week, done weekend shows. I could have made it work, but just something in my soul was just stirring that I'm I feel like I have to jump all in on this. And and part of it was for my students, kind of it was showing them hey, I keep telling you guys to chase your dreams.
Yes.
I'm going to chase mine.
Yep. Love that.
So, I hope they glean some inspiration. But one student, when I told her that I was hey, I'm leaving teaching, I'm going to pursue comedy full time, and she goes, well, you better get famous. That's the only thing that makes it worth you leaving us. And I was oh,
this child, imparting the motivation I need.
But also, if I don't make it, I have an 8th grader who's very upset at me.
Yeah, absolutely.
Granted, now she's probably in the 11th grade or something.
Right. Wow. Okay. And I've seen your comedy. You were way too much of a big fish in that small town if you were trying to do comedy there.
Well, thank you. I hit kind of like the ceiling in the Salt Lake comedy scene. Like I had a dry bar special. I got to open for a lot of big names, and I just felt like it's geographically pretty landlocked. That I'm like,
Yeah.
So I moved to North Carolina. My sister moved out there, and I loved it. And so then there's like Charlotte, Greensboro, Wilmington. Like so like I could do some road work and then establish stuff on the East Coast, and then eventually I hit a ceiling in the Raleigh scene where it's like, okay, I've done a run of Charlotte shows. I've gone to Greensboro. I've gone to South Carolina. I've gone to Virginia. Okay, I think it's time to go to the big leagues.
Yep, absolutely.
So,
how old are you?
I'm 32.
Oh, okay. We're the same age.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Twinning.
I love it. Okay, so what is the food like in Utah?
Okay, it's honestly pretty bland, which I love. I just don't handle spicy very well.
Okay.
So I will say this. My hometown has a lot of Mexican restaurants, and I do have stuff on the menu that I can handle and that I really like. People are kind of surprised that, like, you know, I would say after white people, like, definitely Mexicans would be like the largest people of my hometown.
Yeah.
So we have like 4 or 5 Mexican restaurants in my hometown, and we're not a big town, so like that is a lot to me.
That is a lot, yeah.
But so like as far as like traditional like Utah food or like Mormon food, casseroles.
Yeah, you
love
a cassie.
casseroles. The potato casserole where they put frosted flakes on the top. Oh, I love it.
I love a tuna fish casserole.
I don't care much for tuna fish.
Oh my god, it's so good.
But I do love like, and anytime someone's like, we got chicken broccoli casserole, I'm like, hell yeah, we are partying tonight.
Hell yeah.
I love a good casserole.
Yes.
Ugh.
Love it.
Love it.
So did you grow up around just people being sober?
Yeah, like no one I knew drank growing up, adult or child.
When did you start drinking?
I actually don't really drink a whole lot.
Yeah.
But I started in like my mid-20s after I left Mormonism.
Okay.
I would like try a drink at a friend's house. I'm like, this tastes awful. I'm sticking with my lemonade.
Yeah.
Because I like even Mormons look at me weird because I don't drink soda pop.
Wow.
Like I'll have a Sprite.
Yeah.
Like I just don't. My sister's addicted to Diet Coke. My brother loves Dr. Pepper. I just didn't like drinking it growing up. So people thought like, oh, Mormons can't drink soda pop. I'm like, oh no. My family follows Dr. Pepper's edicts. Like they. Yeah.
We can't have coffee.
Yeah.
We like soda.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, but I just didn't like it growing up. I don't care much for carbonation.
Okay.
So like there was never a temptation for me to have soda pop when people are around. So even when people were drinking, there wasn't a temptation for me to drink around. It wasn't like I drank socially, like even Mormon terms drinking socially. Like I'll have a Pepsi if everyone else was having one. Like, so like for me, it's never really been like I'll taste stuff. I'm like, I do not like this, or this is $15. No, thank you.
Yeah,
like in New York, I'm like, not drinking in Manhattan, and so I just no one drank around me growing up, and
look at you.
Yeah,
you're a shining star.
Yeah, thank you. I've also never tried coffee.
You've never tried
I've never tried it. I had one iced coffee and I did not like it. I think I might have accidentally had coffees because I've had chai teas.
Yeah, that's a little caffeine.
But a chai tea latte, is that coffee?
So I don't know. I think a chai tea latte, in order for it to be coffee, you have to get a dirty chai.
Okay, then
they'll throw a bit of espresso.
Because one time at like a Dunkin' Donuts, I think they served me coffee because it tasted nasty to me.
Yeah.
And so I did not finish it.
It could have just been that it was Dunkin' Donuts.
Maybe, but the Barnes.
I love Dunkin', but
I don't. The Barnes and Noble near my apartment.
Okay,
I go there all the time, and maybe I'm just like a capitalist slut, but like every like little mom and pop coffee shop I've gone to, like any like where I'm like, okay, I'll get a chai. I'm like, oh, this tastes awful, but like maybe I just like mainstream chai, like mass produced chai. I don't know. But that I like. But yeah, like I've never tried. I like the smell of coffee, but I also know I'm easily addicted to things.
Okay.
So I don't want to start drinking coffee and then have to drink coffee.
Right. How do you know that you're easily addicted to things?
Oh, like I listened to a song once, and that's the only song I'll listen to for 3 months.
What's your current song?
Casey Musgrave's Rainbow. It was on a TikTok, and I was like, oh my gosh, what is this? It came out 4 years ago. But it came out 4 years ago, and I'm just discovering it because I've been listening to songs on repeat.
Yeah.
I remember when Kesha Praying came out.
Oh, God,
I hope you're somewhere praying. That was all I listened to for maybe 6 months.
Yeah, totally.
And like, if I find a food like I like for the past, I think 3 weeks, I've had the same breakfast every day. I've had this egg scramble with this. I found this pineapple bacon sausage at my grocery store, and I put bell peppers and literally the same thing every day for weeks on end, and I don't care.
You don't get sick of it.
No, I'm like today's was good. Like I just like for me, I know I can fall into like a habit or a pattern so easily. So for me, I'm like, no, we've gotta. I'm afraid to start it because I don't know. That's the same with tattoos. I know the second I get a tattoo, I'm gonna be like, and another one.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
DJ Khaled me up.
Your brand would be so much cooler with some tattoos.
I want full sleeve tattoos on both arms, but I'm not tough enough to pull off that look.
Come on.
If you see someone with full sleeve tattoos and you're expecting them to be like, what up? Like, and I'm over here being like, I love Shuck the Musical. Like, it's just like...
Listen, I hear what you're saying, but don't underestimate yourself.
I also have a joke about me wanting full sleeve tattoos where I say I don't think I'd be intimidating looking because all I would get is just the Disney princesses all up and down my arms. I'm like Tiana and like Mulan. Like I would love to do it.
Yeah.
But
the imagery wouldn't be hard.
No, and I also have a really low like threshold for pain tolerance.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah, then maybe the full sleeves.
Yeah.
Sorry, we do have a brigade of. Is Santa Claus coming by on the fire truck or something?
Concrete jungle where dreams are made of. I love every time I walk across the Brooklyn Bridge. I always count how many times do I hear the song. And it's at least 4.
Yeah.
Because all the little spinning things.
Yep.
We love.
I love walking over bridges. Oh my God, that's my exercise is walking over bridges.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just like walking in general. Yeah.
I love walking.
Every day I go on at least a 1 hour walk.
Yes, that's awesome.
So
that's
that also gets me out of my apartment because I don't have a day job.
Yes. Okay.
So for me.
Yeah. Sorry, my dog.
That's your dog quiet joining in.
Yeah. He has to howl when the fire trucks go by. Only for fire trucks, though. He doesn't howl for police.
Oh.
He's very much ACAB. I love walking. It's my favorite thing. And I love having a dog to get me out of the house to walk. I needed that kick in the pants for sure. Because I do have a day job and I work from home. I work from that desk all day and I don't move. But it is standing now. So now I can stand.
You have a standing desk.
Yeah.
Look at you go.
Well, I know. I'm just like all the TikTok girlies.
Where's your Stanley mug?
Oh my God. I have fought in the urge. I really have. Because I am obsessed with hydration. I am so good at drinking water.
I am very well hydrated too.
I am look at us.
I drink probably at least 2 gallons a day.
That's my goal.
Okay.
That's my goal is to get 2 gallons in. But definitely
because I don't drink anything else.
Yeah, you don't drink. Yeah. You'll be out of karaoke.
Yeah.
Just
literally. No, I went to karaoke today with a couple people and everyone's like, you want a drink? I was like, I'll get a water.
Yeah. A little lemon. Spice it up. No carcass.
And I had just as much fun as they did.
Yeah.
And I spent significantly less money.
Yeah, you really did. Wow. Gosh, that's the major thing is all the money that you spend
so poor.
while drinking.
So
Totally.
I can't afford to drink.
Yeah. It's like, why are you sober? I can't afford
poverty.
Otherwise. Yeah, poverty. Oh my gosh. Okay. So do you I like to talk a little bit about insecurities on this podcast. So do you have anything like when you were younger that you were insecure about or?
Oh, I was always insecure about my size.
Oh, really?
100%.
Were your siblings bigger or smaller?
All of my siblings are beanpoles.
Okay.
So my brother is my same height and I have 140 pounds on him.
Yeah, it's like all the fat genes just go to one child.
Yes.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. My sister's 6 foot and very skinny. My brother Paul is 5'11". He's the middle child. Very skinny. And all their spouses are very skinny. And then, I stand next to them. I'm like, I'm 2 of you. The width of 2 of you.
Yeah.
So that always was something that I had growing up. And even still to this day, there is some insecurities because, I don't want to be, I want to be appealing to someone, but I don't want them to be appealing to me because of a kink.
Right. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I had one guy who was like, hey, your pictures are really cute. I just wish you had a bigger belly. And I was like... okay.
I'm not here for you like that.
I was just like, okay, so what are you gonna like? Is this Hansel and Gretel? You're just gonna fatten me up,
right.
Like you won't eat me until I'm
Yeah,
fatter.
seriously.
Like, no, thank you.
And like it's like they think that it's like a compliment in a way. And
yeah.
It's like, no.
No. And so like I'm like I have oscillated and I'm growing in my journey of body acceptance. But you know, definitely this year I hit my heaviest weight. And
really?
I've always said that I feel like whenever I am at my heaviest, I'm more happy because I'm not caring about that. I'm just living my life. And that's what like I noticed like in my 20s, like the times I was my thinnest, I was like, oh, because I worked out twice a day because I was depressed.
Yeah.
Like I was heartbroken over this guy and I would work out like nobody's business to try and take my mind off of something or to make a revenge bod so that he regrets saying no to me. And just very unhealthily getting to that point that when I was just like just happy and doing what I wanted, I put on a few pounds because I love eating.
Yeah. There's joy. There's so much joy in food.
And so that's kind of, I'm trying to get to a point now where it's like, okay, like I haven't weighed myself in a while, but I put on the shirt because it didn't fit a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just because like I've just been consciously like making sure I don't eat as much as I used to, making sure like let's add 10 more minutes to my walk today, just like little things that make me feel good. And like I don't know what the scale says for me right now, but for me like I put on stuff, I'm like, oh, these pants are a little looser than they used to be, like, but like I'm not gonna step on the scale because that number is irrelevant to me and it hasn't done nothing but hurt me. But just like for me, I'm like I feel more comfortable and more confident right now. Like I couldn't button the shirt up. Literally I got it a month ago and at the belly it was like at the seams that I've
and
just...
now you put it on.
Yeah, and I was just like pulling out shirts and I put this on, I was like, oh my gosh, it fits. Like I wasn't like being like, I'm going to lose X number of pounds to fit this shirt. It was just
my
like,
goal shirt. I have my goal shirt in my goal closet with all my goal clothes.
I had a whole closet of goal shirts. And when I moved up here to New York, I was like, to hell with it. I donated it all. I can't bring dream shirts.
These are going to the thinner, less fortunate.
The people who are not chasing their dreams shall inherit these shirts, and the people who are going to go be famous have to wear some more sensible clothing.
We have to buy bigger shirts.
And so for me, because like I think it was at the beginning of this year or was that last year, I hadn't weighed myself prior to the pandemic, and so like I was at my friend's house and her bathroom had a scale. I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a scale, and she's like, don't get on it. And I was like, what if I do? She's like, you're not emotionally strong enough to handle this. And
Your
I was
friend
like,
knows you. That's so nice.
but I was just like, I am. And I saw the number. I was like, and I just yelled, I wasn't. And she goes, I told you. She knows me too well.
Oh my God. I have never had an original experience, I have to say. Like the amount of times I'm just like, oh, a scale. Let's check it out.
Every time
I'm really doing this at the Friendsgiving.
Oh yeah, I'll see it like in their bathroom, and I'll just slide it out with my foot, and I'm like, why not? And then I'm like, I'm depressed. I am depressed.
Like, why is Ryan being weird?
Yeah, he went to the bathroom and now he's sad.
I don't want any of those drugs.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, I hear that. Yeah, the being the fat sibling amongst skinny siblings is so annoying.
And my siblings don't like it when I make fat jokes about myself.
Yeah. Like people don't like, as comics.
Yeah.
When you try to make a fat joke on stage, people are like,
I mean, but like,
you're cute.
Yeah, I'm like, I didn't say I wasn't. I just saying I clearly look like I'm 5 months pregnant.
Right,
I'm.
Someone gave up their seat for me on the subway, and I'm a boy.
The man was wanting a 7-month pregnant woman, and I'm only 5. Right. Like I would like joke me like I would like hold my belly, and I'm like, let maternity photo shoot, and they're like, Ryan, no, and I'm like.
Well, at least they're kind.
Well, I'm like, you're uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You don't get the meat sweats. Like, let me, if I find this funny, let me find it funny.
Yeah, no, totally.
So.
Absolutely. It's like, that's one side of it. And then there's the families where there's like one kid that looks different than the rest and all the other kids are cruel to them for that. So it's one of those things.
And it's like my siblings like sometimes don't know how to like, well, you know, like that wouldn't fit you because I was like, I'm fat.
Yeah.
Like I'm like because I'm bigger than you. And like they're like, oh, I'm like, guys, you don't think I know?
Yeah.
Like I literally asked you your weight and he's like 185 and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
He's like, so you're like what, 250? And I was like, if only. If only. Like when I told my brother I was 325 and he was like, "You are not." I was like, "Yep, little Debbie. She does a number. she packs them on. We love it." Like,
and then you have the people that are like, "Oh, you're lucky you're tall.
Yeah.
You don't you would never know."
Yeah,
you would
all the time,
never
like,
know.
You would never tell.
Yes!
And I was like, okay, great. So I should just keep lying to people. I'm like, I'm 225.
Yep.
And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, good for you. Like they have no idea. They have no idea what weight looks like for different heights.
Yeah, I know, and that's why the BMI scale is one of the many reasons why BMI is absolute garbage.
Absolutely.
Trash. It's like we are morbidly obese people sitting on this couch.
I'm like, I just walked 2 hours yesterday. I don't think a morbidly obese person could walk for 2 hours.
Yeah, absolutely not. I know. It's so frustrating. So I just want to jump around, and I'm going to relate this back to bodies, but you went on a Mormon mission.
Yes.
Where did you go?
I went to the country of Uruguay.
Uruguay.
Donde aprendí español.
Whoa.
So I went to an Argentina training center for 2 months, and then I went to Uruguay for 2 years.
Wow. Okay. So I want to ask, how old were you?
I was 19.
Okay. So were you bigger, small? Like, were you? Where
At that
were
point
you?
in time, because I had lost a bunch of weight going into my senior year, I was 6'4", 6'5" ish. I think I grew a little bit on my mission, so I'm like in that area. But I was about like 200 pounds.
Okay.
I was on the skinnier side.
Yeah, you were skinnier then.
I was
for sure.
definitely on the skinnier side of things when I started. Well, I was maybe like 230 because I lost a bunch of weight at the beginning because different cuisine.
Yeah.
Your girl had the runs
Oh,
for
okay, totally.
months.
Yeah. Yeah.
And walking 14 miles a day and having diarrhea.
Totally.
You will get very thin very fast.
Walking 14 miles a day. Why?
As a missionary, we
just walk.
We knocked on doors. We would go to different neighborhoods. We go, we have a meeting with that person over there. We didn't have cars. We were told not to use bikes in my mission because it was a hazard.
Really?
Because most of the bikes that the missionaries had were pretty distraught.
Oh, okay.
And the cost of bike repair and everything, and like safety issues of like, if you get in a pretty bad biking accident in South America, then you're like an American, like they'll have to like ship you home or what, like just like
we don't have room in the budget for you to get hurt.
yeah, basically it was it. And so they're like, and also you can stop and talk to people easier if you're walking than on a bike. So and we would
people love that.
Listen, I'm working on this whole bit about, I'm like, guys, just be nice to the missionaries. I'm like, you don't have to like or agree to their message, but just like say hi.
Yeah.
Like, because I got called so many slurs. I got so disrespected, and like I'm like, listen, I don't want to be here either.
Yeah. Were you out as a gay person?
No. I told my best friend in high school, and we didn't know what to say, so we didn't talk about it for 4.5 years.
Yeah.
So like I told her that my senior of high school. I then went to my freshman year of college. And then I went on my mission. So it was like a year and a half after I told her that I went on my mission.
Yeah.
And she knew.
Yeah.
And I knew. And I didn't tell anyone else. And I went 2 years and was miserable.
Yeah.
And because I didn't want to be gay. That was the thing.
I mean, I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know the joys and the beauties of homosexuality from my hometown. I was like, wait, you mean to tell me men will body shame me anywhere? I'm in. Like, not just grandma, but hot men. Like that. They're like, anyway, like it's just like that whole thing. But after about a year after my mission is when I started to tell people, I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I'm gay.
Yeah.
And
were your parents like, we know, or were they confused?
I had to come out to them at 3 different points in time.
Really?
And then my mom claims she always knew. I was like, then how come I had to come out so many times?
Yeah.
Like,
was this a test? Like, was I trying?
Because like
was I solving a riddle?
I told them I was gay, but I was still Mormon.
Right.
But I just wanted to let you know.
I'm still Mormon.
And then I was like, hey, I'm gay, but I don't go to church anymore. And then it was, hey, I'm gay, and I've started to date men. And that was when I was like, my mom, I think the second time she goes, I always knew. I was like, no, because I've already told you this. We've literally already had this conversation.
Yeah. There's nothing to talk about in this family. We have to talk about what Ryan's doing.
My our mom's favorite catchphrase is, I'm not saying anything. My parents are deaf.
Okay.
So they would sign. So like, I'm not saying anything.
Uh-huh.
I'm not saying anything. I'm like, but you just did.
Yeah.
They're like, just so you know, so-and-so said this to so-and-so, and then that person is now mad, but I'm not saying anything.
Wow.
And we're like, you just did.
Yeah.
My whole family's a huge family of gossips, and we're trying to get better, but like I went to my sister's for Thanksgiving. One of my other cousins who lives in Kentucky now came over, and it just turned into like, he's like, so guess what happened? And like, we're just like telling all this family drama. I'm like, we are gossips. Like, we need to stop.
Gossiping with family is kind of fun, though.
Yeah, I know. With the three of us, we were all just like,
yeah. Oh, okay. So your parents are deaf.
Yes.
Interesting. Did you? I'm trying to think how to formulate this question. Did you feel different from other people because you had deaf parents?
Yeah, no. I mean, to me, it was always normal. Like, I only grew up with that.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are like, "How is it having deaf parents?" I was like, "I don't know. How is it having like Rachel and Dana?" Like,
yeah.
Mark and Kathy are all I know.
Yeah.
Like every video we ever watched had closed caption. You know,
Right.
The lamps flickered when someone rang the doorbell. Like,
yeah.
So to alert my parents. So like, for me, all those things were just normal. But I understood that they were different than other people because I would go to other people's houses. You know, we did have like different, like the way we communicate is very different. And you know, because I'm the youngest of a string of kids. And like all of my siblings are introverts, but me, I'm an extrovert.
Okay.
And I always did just feel different.
Yeah.
Like literally everyone in my family is good at drawing, but me.
Really?
Yeah, they're all incredible
like
artists.
savants?
Yeah, all like they'll just sketch things on the back of like mail things. Like,
right.
And I'm like, what? You drew a log cabin?
Yeah,
Can
you sign this? I'm
yeah,
put it
like
on
you
eBay.
shaded it like it's a snowstorm. Like what the hell?
Yeah.
And I'm over here being like, I drew a stick figure, and it somehow we can't tell what it is.
Yeah,
like,
it's just a stick figure with like a little microphone in its
or
hand.
we have
like,
no
idea.
idea.
I'm good
we
at.
have no idea that it's a stick figure.
Right.
Like that's how bad it is. So yeah, no, I always did feel like different than my family because I was bigger, more extroverted. Like I ran for student council every year, and all my siblings just wanted to be in the back of the corner where no one would notice them. And so just it was just such a very different experience.
Honestly, kind of beautiful to look at. Like you have this like really like closed in family, and you're the one like the fourth child, the last one that's like just has like this ray of light around them. Like I'm a star.
Yeah, absolutely. And I none of my siblings like to sing, act, or dance, and I'm over here being like, I'm the lead in the musical.
Yeah, totally. So. Okay. So going back to your mission, you went on the mission, and how did you survive the food?
Fortunately, Uruguay also is really bland with its cuisine.
Like
they wouldn't put salt and pepper on things. Like they wouldn't put salt because like mi presión, like my high blood pressure.
Oh, okay.
So then they wouldn't even put salt on things.
Yeah.
So things were very bland, which I appreciated because I like spicy food doesn't do well. So when I found out I was going to South America, I was like,
yeah.
And then I get out there, and then they have milanesas, which is like thinly pressed meat. That's I love milanesas. So and then they would do like fideos con tuco, which is just like noodles with noodles with sauce. And then there was a lot of just like rice plates.
Yeah.
So like rice with like peas and corn, rice, and like they would put mayonnaise on stuff. Wow. That would be like the mayonesa.
Yeah.
It has like this hint of lemon, and it comes in giant bags.
Yeah.
And so like that was what I ate a lot, and so like just a lot of rice.
So you fared well.
Yeah, for me, like the one thing we did have cow's tongue one time, and I was like, it's lengua, and I tasted. I was like, hermana, because that's what we called everyone.
Yeah.
A sister, because like in the church, you call each other brother and sister at church. Okay. So it's like Sister Kelly, Brother Ryan, right. Like so. But I'm like, hermana, no me gusta. Be disculpe, pero voy a comer las otras cosas. La lengua no es mi preferido. I'd be like, I don't want to eat the tongue anymore. Yeah. Can I just eat the rest of the dish and have it not be disrespectful? Because she's like, oh, but the tongue is, it's like a delicacy, and it costs me a lot. And I'm like,
do you want it?
Like, I'm like, ooh.
Yeah.
Like it's
like grandma all over again.
Yeah, but
like I really have to clear my plate.
That was like one thing, and then I can't have bananas. So bananas and avocados, I think there's like an amino acid or something in them. The mushiness of them just like literally just found that out, and so like whenever they would serve, they would do like a dessert after every meal. So usually it's like rice pudding, arroz con leche.
Oh, I love rice pudding.
I love it. Ugh. And then sometimes they put like dulce de leche in it.
Oh my gosh,
so good. But then sometimes they do like a fruit postre, which is like
Okay.
a fruit dish or whatever. But like they would like serve it up. And if it had like bananas in it, I would just like pick around it and eat the other. But then like there was one time I was eating it and I was like, I taste banana, but there is no banana in this. And I eat the whole thing because as a missionary, you're supposed to eat the whole plate.
Right.
That's why for me it was kind of a big deal to be like, I cannot finish this because it's really disrespectful. They're like, we sacrificed our time and money to feed you missionaries. And you're gonna be like disrespectful and not eat it.
Yeah.
So like I had to be like, I don't want to throw up in your house.
Right.
And that's so rude. But I'm like, I can't eat this.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I had this like fruit dish and I just was like, and I just could not, my stomach was not feeling well. And I just was like, Hermana, what's in this? And she like listed all the fruit and I was like, okay. It's like, there's no banana. She goes, no, it's banana juice. Jugo de banana. That like, because it was like a soup almost, but with like fruit in it. And literally my companion, that's what we called each other, my mission companion. He heard my stomach go, and I literally was like, "Oh, hermana, we have a meeting." I will be. I was like, we have to run. And my companion looked at me. I'm like, and I just looked at him. I was like, I'm gonna run ahead to go unlock the church because we lived across the street from the church. I was like, for that meeting, you catch up whenever you get there. And he's like, what? I was like, I have to go, Elder. And I just sprinted.
Yeah. Did you make it?
I did.
Okay, thank God.
But yeah, I was traumatized.
Yeah. Wow. So you're very sensitive.
Yeah.
Very sensitive tummy.
Well, yeah, and like, and just like when I came home, I'm like, I wonder if it was just a South America thing. And then like, I ate some avocados.
Nope.
I ate some bananas. Nope.
Yeah.
It's a my body thing.
It's your body thing.
Yeah, it's a mi cuerpo.
Interesting. So you know sign language and Spanish.
And English.
And English.
Hey.
Wow. You're so well read. Look at you.
Thank you.
Okay, so are you friends with anybody that you went on the mission with?
I have stayed in contact with a few people. The ones that have also left the church have reached out to me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, I saw you don't go to church anymore either." I'm like, There's been a couple people, like one of my companions who's in Indiana now. Like I had shows in Indiana. He goes, "Hey, we're gonna try and make it," and they couldn't. But like I don't really hang out with anyone from my mission. There are people that I'd be friendly with. Like shortly after my mission, there were people that I hung out with from my mission. But no. And
missions are 2 years long?
2 years. For guys. For girls, they're 18 months.
Okay. Why?
No one has ever given me a good answer.
Knows.
But women had to wait till they were 21 to go. Men could go at 18.
Interesting. Okay.
And women could go, so once you're 21, for a woman, you can go kind of whenever. If you're a man, it's between 19 and 26.
Oh, okay.
So once you're 26, you can't go back you can't go on a mission. But women can go on multiple missions.
Oh, okay.
It's like a weird.
Yeah, it's just these weird.
There was a girl in my Argentina MTC training area. She had already done an 18-month mission to Chicago like 3 years earlier. And she goes, well, I wasn't doing anything with my life, so I saved up money and went back out to do another 1.5 year mission, and I got sent to Uruguay. And I was like,
wow.
Girl, like, get a hobby.
Yeah, no, literally. Because like, I think about missions and, you know, the door knocking and talking to people. It's like, I'm bad at sales and I get like paid to do that.
Yeah. There's so many Mormon missionaries who come back and they do the summer sales, like Vivint.
Yeah.
Pest control stuff. Because they're like, well, you might as well be getting paid to do it. And I was like, no, I hated it.
Yeah, no, this was not.
The only reason I did it was because I thought my salvation was on the line.
Right. Yeah.
Like, there's no amount of money that could convince me to go door knocking.
I don't got that dog in me to go out and do this.
It's a parakeet. Like, no dog.
Squeak.
And and it's just got sassy remarks.
Yeah.
Like,
wow.
Yeah, no dog in me.
So what was that process like of leaving the church? Was it just like one day? Was there turmoil over it? Like, take me through a little bit of what that was
so like. Growing up, I always knew I was gay, like in middle school, but I didn't want to be. So like I prayed.
Yeah.
Heavenly Father, like if you make me straight, like I'll do anything if you do that. And I had a lot of instances where, like one time I was trapped on the side of a mountain because I fell rock climbing.
Wow. Oh my God.
And I was like, Heavenly Father, if you get me off this mountain, I will go on a mission.
Yeah.
And he got me off the mountain, and I was like, damn it.
Ah.
But I was just like, okay. And I was like, if you make me straight, I will go on a mission. I will be obedient. I will follow all the rules. And I was on my mission, and I was miserable, but I kept being like, I don't want to be gay. But like, honestly, I hit a point where I'm like, I don't care anymore. Like, I'm tired of fighting.
Yeah.
But I still followed all the mission rules because I asked to quit several times early on in my mission. I was like, and had I told my mission president I was gay, I actually would have been sent home.
Really?
Yeah. Like, you can, because I read the church handbook, which you're not supposed to unless you're a church leader.
Really?
But technically I was a church leader on my mission.
Okay.
Long story short.
Loophole.
Yeah, that we don't have time to get into.
Right.
A congregation is called a ward or a branch, depending on the size of it. One area I was in was so small that I was considered one of the counselors to the bishop. So I technically got access to it, whatever, loophole.
Yeah,
anyway,
totally.
basically, like, if you admit same-sex attraction, you are declared ineligible for mission service. Wow. So I shouldn't have even been allowed to go, but I hid it.
Yeah.
And so I didn't hide it well.
I was going to say, and just was like, no, I'm not going to.
Because you have to repent of all your sins before you go
Yeah.
as a missionary. And I had to be like, I watched gay porn, but I'm not gay.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay.
Okay.
They're like, did you watch any other type of porn? I'm like, no.
The gay-
Which should have been a dead giveaway. Like,
totally.
I repented of watching gay porn, and they asked me if I'd watched any other type of porn.
They
I'm
just
like,
assumed it was lesbian.
no, maybe I didn't even think about that. But then, so like, I hit a point in my mission where I was just like, I'm here now. I'm like 8 months away. Like,
Yes.
why quit now?
Mhm.
Like,
We're almost done.
I've done 16 months.
Yeah.
Like, I hated it. And I got home, finished my mission, and I'm not going to get into the end of my mission right now. It's a story for another day.
Totally.
But I came home supremely disappointed in my mission experience because I thought the Lord would make me straight.
Yeah.
And I was like, what did I do these past 2 years?
You went in with like it was like a bargaining thing. That
yeah.
You went in
I was
with.
like, we made a deal.
Yeah.
But it was really like Ryan set up a deal and was like, you're gonna do this if I do this. Okay, I'm doing it. And it's like I literally never agreed to that.
Yeah, that's not how God works.
Yeah, well, that's not how deals work.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, I came up with this deal. I'm gonna do this. You do that for me. Bye. And it's like,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, you didn't hold up your end of the bargain. Anyway. So then, like, about a year after my mission, I just was like, I can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
Went into my bishop's office. That's like your pastor.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm done. I can't do it. And told him I was gay. Told him
Wow, it was like this huge conversation.
it was like a 3-hour-long conversation for me and him.
Wow.
And I knew going in that it was like this, like, I'm like, this is like my salvation's on the line. But I was like, I'm not happy here.
Yeah.
I'm miserable. Trigger warning. I had thoughts of ending it all.
Right.
Like, I just was like, I'm tired.
It was killing you.
Yeah. I was like, I'm tired of not feeling good enough. I'm tired of the fact that every Sunday I pray at church and I'm like, dear Heavenly Father, please forgive me for thinking the boy that walked out of the business building on Tuesday was cute. Amen. And then I would take the sacrament and be like, I'm going to be a new man. And then that afternoon, I'm like, that boy's cute. Damn it.
Damn it. Yeah.
Like, it was just like that all the time. And I was like, I was just tired of being miserable. And so I came out of the closet and out of the church basically like at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you kind of had to.
No, there's a lot of gay Mormons.
Really?
In Utah. Yeah, they're like, I have such faith, but I like men. And I'm going to make it work. Yeah.
And you didn't have you didn't want to go that route?
Well, I didn't see how you could.
Right.
For me, like, it was such a logical, like, paradox, like a fallacy to me. And
I mean, they don't let you serve a mission if you're gay. So how could you?
Yeah. So, like, for me, like, I was just like, I don't get how you can balance that. I'm like, if the church says this is bad, why would I stay in the church and be that?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just being told, I'm telling everyone I'm bad, but I'm staying here.
Right.
Like,
right.
No, I'm going to go somewhere I'm wanted.
Did they make you sign a document?
So, yeah, no. Like, there is the process. I did fill out a form, and I did mail it off. And then I did call them, and I actually had them cancel my.
Really?
It's called records removal.
Yeah,
You remove
I
your
know
records
that.
from the church.
I know that because I watch Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay. So you're familiar. So I actually filled out the form, and I sent it off, and then a few days later, I called them and canceled it because when I told my family, they were devastated.
About you leaving.
Well, no, just that I did that form. At that point, I had
Oh.
been out for like 2 years.
Yeah.
But I finally took the initiative to do the form
Yeah.
because you can just like walk away. Like I
was
say
gonna
I left the church. I walked away from it.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do like the paperwork.
Paperwork.
I didn't get excommunicated. I didn't, but I did fill out the records removal because I just was like, this isn't me anymore.
Yeah, doesn't need to be there.
And then, because I was 24 and stupid, 25 and stupid, I just texted my family in a group chat, hey, send off my records removal.
Hey, devastating blow incoming.
Yeah, because for those unfamiliar with Mormonism is where your family is sealed to each other for eternity.
Yeah.
And you can only all spend eternity together if everyone is there. And so by me removing my records, I'm not allowing myself to be there. So in their mindset, I'm willfully giving up an eternity with them.
Right.
To fill out.
It's deep.
Yeah. So for them, they're like, Ryan, that deserves a phone call. And I was like, but I didn't want to have a phone.
Yeah.
And
because this isn't a discussion for me.
well, and for me, I kind of got put on blast. And because I'm like, but it's my decision.
Yep.
And I understand that it's important to you, but it's not important to me. And I didn't have the mental bandwidth to have a conversation with each and every one of you about my decision. I wanted to let you know before mom or dad finds out when they log into church history website and sees that little icon that says I've been removed. Like, and then it's like, duh.
Yeah.
Like, for me, it was just like, I'm like, this is for me. And you guys are like mad at me because like you should have called us, and I was like, I didn't want to.
Yeah.
And so then I called and canceled my records removal. So technically my records are still on the books, and I might do it one day. But I'm like, okay, listen, if this is that big of a deal to you, I'm going to be respectful of you guys. I hope that you're respectful of me and my wishes when I want to do something.
Yeah.
But right now, I'm going to respectfully not remove my records. But like,
I completely understand why. There's something personally for yourself probably would have been like done. Like I'm out of there. It's fine. But it's very layered when it comes to the family.
Yeah.
And I'm not about sacrificing any part of yourself for your family's benefit or making them more comfortable. But in this specific instance, I could see why it was like, I'll just call and cancel. Like, Mom, your internal damnation's fine.
They
like,
didn't know I called.
Oh, okay.
That was the decision I made. So in their minds, my records are probably gone.
Yeah.
So they're gonna wait. So if they ever do end up looking, I think my parents ended up finding out that I didn't get them canceled because the icon didn't. Because the Mormons are big into family history, genealogy.
Oh, okay.
And so when you go to the Mormon temple, they do temple work for the dead. So there's baptisms for the dead. So like, if you pass away, Mormons will baptize you.
Wow.
Because they believe in the spirit realm, you can have the opportunity to accept it or not, but it has to be performed physically. So people do it by proxy for you, and you can choose to reject or accept it in the afterlife.
Okay.
But they did.
I wonder what the rejection rate is.
I don't know. But they did get in some hot water after they baptized Anne Frank. They're like, maybe don't do celebrities. It's just a true story. You can Google it.
Celebrity postmortem baptism of a Jewish girl.
Yep. Because everyone needs to be baptized on the earth, and then they can choose to accept it or not in the spirit world.
Oh,
so at some point in time,
Anne's like, just let me rest.
I know this is going to sound hot take controversial, but by Mormon logic, Adolf Hitler will one day be baptized in a Mormon temple.
Yeah, listen.
Because apparently everyone's supposed to have the Mao.
Yeah,
like
all of them.
Stalin.
Yep.
Like every single person.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. Okay. And so were you had you walked away from the church when you were teaching?
Yeah, so I walked away from the church while I was in college. And so I say I taught for 9 years. I started teaching at 21 while I was still in college. I would be a substitute teacher, and I ran an after-school theater program.
Okay.
So I count that in my 9 years, but 6 years as a classroom educator where, like, I am your homeroom teacher. Like, that was for 6 years. But for 3 years, I was a substitute / ran a program. Okay. So, like, but, like, parents knew who I was in the community because it was at the same school. Like,
this was a Mormon school?
Well, it was just Utah. It was a public school.
Okay.
It was a public school.
So, it was a public school. Okay. Because I went to Catholic school, and so there were rules like teachers couldn't be gay, teachers couldn't be married, or teachers couldn't live with a partner if they weren't married. So if something like that had happened, they'd be like, "You're not teaching here anymore."
Yes, no, there are Mormon schools in Utah, which is crazy because I'm like, literally, my high school is like 80% Mormon.
Yeah,
like, I don't,
it's like just get the free one. Go to the free one.
Like I didn't get it. It's QAnon right wingers.
Totally. True.
Yep. So yeah, like I was out and. I was kind of like wishy-washy about it at first. Like I didn't want because I was scared that I'd lose my job.
Yeah. Yes.
So for me, it was very much like I had to call the police after my first year of teaching because a student made a false account on a dating app and matched with me and using a fake profile and accused me of R-wording students.
Oh my God.
So I had to call the police.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, hey, I've screenshotted everything. Because this wasn't the first time they harassed me.
Yeah.
It was the second. And I didn't screenshot the first time, and then they unmatched me.
Right.
And then I just was like, well, that was stupid.
That's scary that as a gay person, having to call the police about something like that.
I called my principal, and I called my school secretary, and I was like, what do I do? And I was like, we will call the police. And like they're gonna talk to you. I'm like, I'm being very transparent.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I think I know who the student is because of the hints they dropped in the messages. They're like, I didn't like you, that's why I transferred out after one day. And then I went through my grade book and I could see who dropped class after one day. I pieced together.
Cross-referencing, yeah.
So because I messaged them, I was like, because they the first time I blocked them and then they made a new profile, and then started attacking me again, and this time I was like, they're just gonna keep doing this if I don't engage. So I had to engage, and I went back and forth with them, and then they finally gave me enough clues that I figured out who they were, and I said, oh, and I just like, ha 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 ha, I gotcha, I know exactly who you are. I was like, and I just said, tell your grandma's the cop's gonna come by, because I knew the student lived with their grandma.
Wow.
And I was like, tell your grandma the cops are going to come by soon. Blocked me immediately.
Wow.
So then I called, and whatever. The student had actually moved out and lived in a different state, but was back in town that week visiting grandma. He decided to stalk me. And so the police very sternly, because he's like, well, my grandson's back in Arizona or whatever. And the police just said, we are making this very clear. We have this on file or whatever. He is stalking him. If it happens one more time, he will be arrested. And I can't remember what, I don't know if it stalking, harassment, whatever. For one of the crimes, they can charge them at 16 or something. I wasn't too in the know, but because he was 15 at the time and he was about to turn 16, they're like, if he does this again once he turns 16, he will see some jail time.
Wow.
And so it stopped. It never happened to me. But I was like, petrified.
I would imagine. Did you have the support of like your principal? And
and I kept it very hush hush. I didn't tell other teachers for like another year or two. Just because I didn't want.
Because you're like, I don't want them thinking that this is like some gay shit. Like, no, I'm being harassed.
And so no, my faculty is super supportive. I loved my school.
Good.
Like they were so great.
Yeah.
I wasn't the only gay teacher at my school. My first year. There was one other gay teacher, and then he left. But he was like, I was the only gay teacher till I arrived. He was the only gay teacher till I arrived. We overlapped 1 year, and then he left, and then I was the only gay teacher, I think, until my last year, and then there was a lesbian teacher. So like we just like pass the baton or the sash, really.
You just keep like kicking him out. Like I'm the only gay one that's allowed in this.
We can't have two.
2 is a bridge too far. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. So all your siblings and your parents, obviously, are they all still in the church?
Yeah, they're all Mormon.
Practicing going to church.
My sister, who I lived with for a year in North Carolina, they're quite liberal. Their kids know I'm gay. Their kids don't care that I'm gay. Like
Yeah.
for them, because their babysitters grew up. They used to live in California. Their babysitters was this gay couple, and then when they broke up, it would when just Gary would come by, they're like, "Where's your boyfriend?"
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, he dumped me.
Yeah. So they're
So
they're
that
little
family,
Mormons.
that family is very progressive, but the others, I don't know what they've told their kids.
Okay.
I've left that up to them.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not my decision to how you describe their uncle.
Yeah.
That's you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Just tell them I weigh 230 pounds.
As long as they believe that I'm the same weight as their dad,
Yeah.
we're fine.
As long as they think I'm skinny.
Yeah.
So are there aspects of like the Mormon church that you miss, or is it like long and forgotten?
Yeah, I mean, sure. Like it's what I grew up in, so like
Yeah.
of course I saw a future in it.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a future in it because that's all I knew. And because in my hometown, every person who had someone who like was gay or left the church, they were always presented as deeply unhappy and having lost their way, and they moved out of our hometown.
Yeah.
Because they were ashamed. That was kind of like the stigma
Yeah.
of like, if they move away because they're gay, it's because they're not happy and they won't show their face around here. That was kind of like the mindset
Right.
and the attitude. So like I didn't want to be, but like I do miss like the churches, like as much as people like talk about like it's a doctrinal thing, like it's also a culture and a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
And like the church does events on Sunday, like there's church and there's sometimes firesides. Monday night is usually reserved as like family night. So like the church doesn't have any activities on Monday night so that families can do stuff as a family.
Nice.
And then, we had what we called mutual or midweek activity on Wednesday night at church. Then, Saturday morning there was like church basketball. And then once a month the Boy Scouts, because Mormons were big into Boy Scouting, we would like once a month we do a camp out.
Were you a Boy Scout?
Mm-hmm, yeah. I was not an Eagle. I got my life and got out of there.
Yeah.
I was like 3 merit badges on a service project away from getting my Eagle. And I
Yeah.
was like 14 and I'm like, I'm bored. And I
I'm
stopped
bored.
doing it.
Oh my God, was that something that your parents were like, you're so close, just do
No.
it? Oh, good.
Neither of my other brothers wanted to do Scouts. So they
Okay.
didn't. I don't think they either earned a merit badge.
Okay.
But I was like, I have fun doing this.
Yeah.
And so they were like, because like it was a social event.
Yeah.
And
you
I
love
loved
the patches.
Yeah, I was like, look at all these cute, fun patches I got. Like pioneering, don't know what that is, but look how it is. Like
Yeah.
that was the not tying merit badge. It's called pioneering, which I never understood.
Good. Go figure.
But I do miss a lot of like the cultural things, because there'd be like activities and like events, and in the church everyone has callings.
Okay.
So you have a responsibility. Maybe you're the Sunday school teacher, or maybe you're the Cub Scout leader, or maybe you're the referee for the basketball thing. Like everyone has a different calling in the church. So you have a responsibility. So then you spend some of your free time preparing your lesson or your talk or whatever for church. And so it just became part of your life. And then like there'd just be like so many like cultural things around it, that there is this sense of community that I know a lot of Mormons who are like, I don't believe anything, I still go because I enjoy the camaraderie, I enjoy certain things.
Sounds honestly really lovely.
And it was like honestly a lovely way of like raising her. Like all my friends were Mormon. Like there was never the pressure or expectation from any of my friends to ever do drugs, alcohol, have sex, like whatever. It just was like we would just play games. We would go out and play night games. We would play basketball. We would play we would go rollerblading. Like we would go hiking on the mountains. Like we would just like live life, and there was never the pressure expectation. Not one of my friends ever like pressured me, and I don't know if I don't feel like I ever pressured them to do anything that they ever like didn't feel comfortable with. So it's kind of like an idyllic childhood.
No, it sounds
we
like
would have
Norman
sleepovers.
Rockwell.
We'd have like sleepovers all the time at different people's houses.
Yeah.
Sleep out on their back patio, sleep on their tramp, sleep in their basement, like, and we would just have the most fun.
Yeah, it sounds like really safe and like really lovely.
Yeah.
And like you can look back on your childhood and be like, I did all these fun things with my friends.
Yeah, we would walk into each other's houses barefoot. We would just like walk across the
Yeah.
street. We wouldn't even call. We'd go over and I would like knock the door open. I'm like, hi,
Yeah.
are Brian and Christina home?
Right.
And then I'd hear, yeah, we're downstairs. And I would just walk
Yeah.
in. And then I would like say, hi, Mom, as I'd like walk down to the basement. Like, are you staying for dinner? I'm like, probably not.
Right.
I'll go ask my mom. Like, it was just like very, like, we would all raid each other's pantries. Like, we would all walk into each other's houses unannounced.
Right.
Like, we would all do like we would just hang out together, and it was this big co-ed group of about 12, 14 of us. And like our neighborhood was really safe. I was in like the corner of town nestled up against the mountain. So like there was never like a concern about like safety or anything. We didn't live near a busy road, even though we were a small town, but like we weren't near Main Street,
right,
or whatever. So like we just like, it really was like honestly like a quite an idyllic childhood. Like as much as like I look back and like remember like how much like pain I went through like internally, like having that friend group and because like I like just it was always an escape.
Yeah.
And we would always like try new things. We would make up new games. Like we would play roller basketball.
Yeah.
Where we would all put on our rollerblades and like lower the basketball hoop and then we'd just play for hours and like we would then get on our bikes to just go to the other side of town. Like
it kind of sounds like and tell me if I'm completely off base here, but it sounds like if you weren't gay, you would have such a different life, because it sounds like being like gay is like the impetus of why it's like I cannot do this.
Yeah, I like honestly like I tell myself this and I tell all my friends this. I was like, if I was straight, I would have done what all of you did. I would have married someone from our high school.
Yeah.
And I would have stayed here and we would have monthly game night.
Yeah.
And our kids would go on hikes in the mountain just like we did. Like we would go up to the reservoir because there's like a canyon up the road, like 5-10 minutes. There's a reservoir that we would go swimming at sometimes.
Wow.
Like, and like we would just like our kids would have our lives and I would not be mad about that.
Yeah.
Like if I was straight, that's what I would do and I would love it. Yeah. Like I don't like some people are like oh my friends from my hometown like they never left, or like people from my hometown they stayed, how sad. I was like, my friends aren't sad.
Yeah.
Like maybe they are and they're hiding it, but like when I go back and visit my friends, they talk about like, oh yeah, we just renovated our kitchen and we did this and like, oh, you know, our girls are now going to this elementary school that's right behind our house and like
so sweet.
And like they seem happy.
Yeah.
And like we still stay in contact with them and like they all hang out still and like so no, like I think a lot of people shade people who like stay in their hometown or whatever, like as it's some sort of like big negative thing. But like I'm like, if you're happy, you're happy. If you're not happy, yeah, change it. But like from all the things I'm being told, my friends have a very happy life and like good for them.
Yeah.
I'm happy for them.
So were you the only person in your friend group from growing up that realized that they were gay? And went on this
no, we had
path?
a lesbian.
Okay.
She still lives in Utah, but she was like 2 hours south of where we grew up.
Okay.
She lives with her wife.
And she leads a secular life, or what's her deal?
I don't know where she's at on religion, but I know she's married. She's very happy. She loves her wife.
Nice.
I was able to visit them earlier this year, and yeah, as far as religion, she obviously stepped away from the church, but I don't know if she's like agnostic, atheist, Christian. Well, I don't know. We don't. It doesn't ever come up when her and I are talking. But yeah, like she's also very happy.
Yeah. So is your view of religion sort of warped by growing up Mormon and having grown up in a religion where there's a doctrine that doesn't accept you for being gay? Like, do you look at other religions and think like, we're all going by or the people that are in religion, like we're all sort of going by this doctrine that like sometimes doesn't make sense?
Yeah, like for me, like I have thought about like, you know, like if growing up the church was like, no, being gay is fine.
Yes.
I would think religion is great.
Right.
But it's because I was told it wasn't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
But like people are like, well, what if the church changed its tune and was like, suddenly gay marriage is okay and you can be. I'm like, I still wouldn't go back.
Right.
Because for me, I was so hurt.
Yeah.
When I was there and I was told I was not accepted. Mm-hmm. So, and for them to do a 180 would kind of, when they said they would never, like church leaders have come out and be like, we will never accept the doctrine of same-sex attraction. That's what they call it. They don't call it gay. They call it same-sex attraction.
Right.
Which is so dehumanizing.
Seriously.
Like, just the way... Because it sounds like when people talk about like, oh, they're a pedophile, they're like, no, I'm a minor attracted person.
Attractive person.
Like, no, you're
right.
Or like Gianmarco Ceresi has a really funny bit where he talks about ehebophiles.
Yeah.
Such a good bit.
I know
but
that
he's like, you know, but when I say that, I sound like a pedophile.
It's
such a good bit. But like, I hate it because when they say same-sex attraction, I think minor attracted person.
Right.
And I'm like, no. You're coming up with this like sociological definition for something. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Like, just say gay. Mm-hmm. They just just refuse to say it.
Right.
And so for me, I'm like, I don't know if I'd go back.
Yeah, because that doesn't take away the lifelong childhood that you had.
Doesn't take the 22,
yeah,
23 years I had of suffering growing up.
of inner turmoil.
Absolutely. And it doesn't take the decade away I've spent of unpacking and reflecting. And then to just be like, we're actually cool with everything. I'm like, then why the hell?
Yeah.
It's like you're going on a hike and you're like, oh, we have to do this loop. And then you get to it. It's like, actually, that loop is a perfect circle and it brought us back here. I'm like, we just wasted so much time. When we could have just gone that way.
Yeah. You could
in the first place.
Walk straight through. Yeah.
So for me, I would have a really hard time accepting that and being like, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I would have a really hard time with that.
Totally. Okay, I want to end on some rapid fire questions.
Great.
You ready for them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, these are meant to just, say the first thing that comes to your mind, but take a beat to think if you need to. Okay, so finish the sentence. When I look at a photo of my younger self.
It's conflicting because, conflicting would be the word, because like today, like on my Facebook memories, was the day 11 years ago I uploaded my mission photo album.
Oh my God.
So I was looking through my mission pictures this morning because it popped up on my Facebook memories.
And talk about a younger self.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Like not just it was like me, like 130 pounds lighter, me, you can see kind of like hope in my eyes, and then you kind of look at the pictures towards the end of my mission and not as much hope in my eyes.
Totally.
So like there is conflicting because like I'll look back at like different pictures of like my elementary school or middle school days, and I'll be like, oh, he has no idea. But like I'm so happy he's happy.
Yeah.
And like even in high school, like I was on student council 4 years. I was like very popular, very involved. Like I had a leadership scholarship to college. But like I sometimes look at my high school pictures. I'm like, oh, I'm faking it. And that like so there is this conflict because like I look back at some of my high school. I'm like, oh, that was a great memory.
Right.
But I knew I was unhappy.
Yeah.
So conflicting is probably the right word.
Everything's in like a sepia tone, kind of.
Yeah. Like there's great things that I can see. But there's
Yeah.
like, oh, I remember I remember. The night I was awarded most outstanding boy of my graduating class, I was like so honored. It was like our senior awards night. I was not expecting it. But
were you like, oh my God, I'm outstanding boy?
Thank you. Yeah, I literally was like, could not believe it.
Oh.
And but then I just remember that same night because they talked about like when they awarded me, they're like, Ryan in the future has a leadership scholarship to this university and hopes to serve a 2-year Mormon mission.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, like I even in that moment where I like 18 years worth of work, I'm reminded of things I have to do going forward that I don't know if I can do.
Yeah.
So that I remember like the pictures of like that stuff being like, that was so cool, but also like I remember how depressed I felt when I got home.
Absolutely.
So conflicting.
Okay, so this
Sorry, I know that's not rapid fire, and I had a long story.
No, it's fine. This brings us to the next one, which is kind of perfect. If I could whisper something into the ear of my younger self, I would say.
Okay, I have thought about this for a while.
Okay.
Because I have dreamed about going on Survivor.
Okay.
And so like I have like all these things and I watch every season and people always talk about like if I could go back and tell myself on day one, what would I tell myself? Like if I could go back as the person who was applying and like so they say this all the time on Survivor. And I wouldn't say a damn thing.
Really?
I wouldn't say a damn thing.
Why?
The person I am today is because of all the mistakes I made.
Okay.
Like the person I am today, like the reason why you said at the beginning, like Ryan, you're still like warm, whatever. I am that person because I've been cold. Like I all the great things that I am today, like were mined and forged and created. So I wouldn't want to like mess up cosmically.
That's beautiful.
I
hear that. Yeah.
Just because like even just being like, hey, like you like keep your chin up. Like, I wouldn't want to like the butterfly flaps a wing in China and it affects the hurricane or whatever. Like I would just look at him and wish him well and know he's gonna make it through.
Yeah.
Because like I have and like I am where I am today. And I'm not famous yet, but like I I honestly, because I've thought about this, I'm like, okay, I would say this. I would say this.
Yeah.
I would come out differently, or I wouldn't go on a mission, or I would do
Right.
like, no, I wouldn't change a damn thing.
You would just be really nice to that mission boy,
Mm-hmm.
as you said. Be
Yeah,
nice to the
I would
missions.
just wave
Yeah.
and walk on by.
Oh, that's beautiful. And I think that's a perfect place to end.
Okay.
I don't have any more for you. That's really great, because I feel like so much of us look back on our lives and you go through the trauma that you've been through and you assess it all and you're like, oh, if I could change this, change that. And I can say personally, I really am grateful for where I am, and I would not be who I am without the shit that has happened to me in the past. And so for you to be so, just articulate that so beautifully, I love that.
Well,
very
thank
much.
you. Yeah, no, I've put a lot of thought. This wasn't my first thought. I
Right.
wrote down like 3 different things, and then I was like, no.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what? Let it
Yeah.
let his life live.
Yeah.
Let it,
The
because I make
tribe-
it through.
Yeah.
Like if I didn't make it through, I'd be like, oh no, we're gonna.
Yeah,
But
if
like,
you were like on drugs right now.
yeah, and like I honestly, like when people go, "What's your biggest regret in your life?" I'm like, I honestly don't have one.
Yeah.
Because like mistakes have been made, like things I will say off this podcast once we put this down.
Right.
But I learned from them.
Yep.
And I would never make the same choice again, but I did, and I'm a better person for it.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. I love it. Thank you so much for coming
No,
on.
thanks for having me.
Of course. Where can people find you?
Social media, Erwin across most platforms, Ryan Erwin Comedy. If you type Ryan Erwin Comedy on any social media platform, even the Erwin profiles will pop up.
Perfect. Okay. And you have a special on Dry Bar?
Yeah, my second one's coming out this winter. So my first one's been out. It's on YouTube right now. But my second one's coming out February. When I emailed them about specific dates, they said expect the winter.
Okay. Winter is
so
coming.
winter is here, and
Yeah.
they emailed me at the beginning of December being like, it's not coming out in December. And so I'm like, all right.
Okay.
So
2024. Love
January.
it.
I'm probably
Yeah.
expecting February.
Okay. Awesome. Well, look out for that, guys. And yeah, again, thank you so much. You're the best. I really appreciate it. Guys, we will talk to you next Friday. Bye.